Joining me from New York is filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami Horowitz, thank you for joining me. First of all, tell us what kind of guy is this Hasan Minhaj?
Hasan Minhaj is a pretty popular comedian here in the U.S. He had his own Netflix show. He's on The Daily Show. In fact, he was on the short list to become the new host of The Daily Show. And he was caught making up racial stories, persecutions that he went through because of his race. And, you know, the interesting thing about this was he didn't, after he was caught, admitted he was making up, totally out of whole cloth, these stories. There's no contrition. He actually doubled down and said, hey, this is my emotional truth. Now, whenever somebody says their emotional truth, what does that actually mean? It means they're lying, right? Read lie into this. That's exactly what it is. Total lies. He was actually defended by people, including Whoopi Goldberg on The View. And, you know, look, it's not just about a story about a comedian who exaggerates stories about his life, right? Comedians do this all the time. He is actually trying to stoke racial tension. That's exactly what he's doing. And in another consequence of that, he's trying to make himself a victim because in our day and age, in our modern world, victimhood is a currency. And he was trying to get more of it. And I want to make clear, this is not just some victimless crime. This is a guy who's doing this because, and there are consequences for what he did. Look, the BLM riots happened because people were making up narratives and stories about what was going on in our country, right? So this is what it leads to ultimately if you have enough of these stories. Now, I'll leave you some good news on this. Now, the good news on this is whenever you have people like Jussie Smollett, Hasan Minhaj, and Bubba from the NASCAR racing circuit who made things up about a noose. What that does, it actually creates, you have a better understanding that the world isn't actually as bad as it is because we have to make things up. They don't actually exist in our real world in a large, massive way. You have to make up stories because you can't find stories anywhere else. So in a weird way, this is actually kind of good news for our country.
But these were really quite intricate stories, emotional truths or whatever. I mean, for example, you know, someone sending him white powder and he had to, you know, call the police and the whole thing. His daughter was in danger.
No.
Not
sending him, sending to his daughter. It poured all over his daughter. Yeah, there are a lot of details involved, which makes it so bizarre, or how a police officer beat him up. I mean, these are very specific, very scurrilous charges that he made, which we now know made up out of whole cloth.
Well, now Whoopi Goldberg, you said, defended him.
That's what we do. That's what we do. We tell stories and then we embellish them.
Ami, does that work for you?
No, it definitely does not. That's the kind of thing that if I did that in what I do for a living, I wouldn't be doing anything for a living anymore. I would lose my job, and I should lose my job. If I was making things up to make a larger point, like particularly with my videos, no, that's something that you should and would lose your position. And that's, I think, the consequence he should be facing here as well. He's creating problems where problems don't exist in order for him to capitalize, like I said, for his personal edification of being a victim. And that's what I think he's doing. It's dangerous. It's terrible. It's scurrilous.